This is the Real Change Wilmington podcast, episode 76, the Mediterranean Restaurant and Cafe's founding family story with our guests today, Tony and Sharon Testa.
Before we opened the restaurant, they had a prayer thing. It wasn't Dove back then, but the church, and everybody walked around and prayed in front of different buildings and stuff. And we prayed in front of the restaurant before it opened with a group. And my prayer was that we would never put business first, that family would always be first. It wouldn't be about money. It would be about, the people that were there and our family.
What is going on, everyone? This is your host of the Real Change Wilmington podcast, Dustin Pierce. Real Change is a positive, constructive, and lighthearted source of local news, events, and resources. On our podcast, we interview leaders of local organizations to help squash rumors and encourage a greater sense of pride in our community. We have a great episode for you today with the founders of the Mediterranean. Tony and Sharon first met each other in Daytona Beach, Florida. Sharon was hitchhiking with a friend, and Tony was doing a headstand on the beach. It was during the hippie era, so obviously they fell in love and got married 6 months later. They moved to Connecticut briefly, where Tony is from, and ended up in Ohio, where Sharon is from, when they were pregnant with their first son, Nick. Tony had an interesting and winding career as a door-to-door salesman, pizza shop owner, and then the owner of a sports wholesale business. On this episode, Tony and Sharon share about how personal tragedy impacted their lives and developed their deep Christian faiths. They also talk about how they were living in the community for a while, but not really a part of the community until a pastor challenged them to get more involved. They started going to Dove Church, helped Alan Willoughby start up Sugar Tree Ministries, then spent 2 years renovating their building and eventually opening the Mediterranean restaurant with their children in 2006. This was my first time talking with Tony and Sharon, so please excuse all of our awkwardness during the first few minutes of the podcast, but by the end, we were all more comfortable and laughing, and even went out to lunch afterwards at the Mediterranean, and of course, got some spinach artichoke dip. So with that introduction, let's bring in our guest today and get this podcast started. Tony and Sharon Testa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Welcome to our podcast. You guys are the owners of the Mediterranean. And before we get into that, we'll just ask about your background. So can you both kind of tell us where you're from and how you got to Wilmington?
Well, originally I'm from Connecticut, but I met a Cincinnati girl, and here I am in Wilmington now, which we're glad we live here versus Cincinnati. But in early 80s, we had a pizza place in Cincinnati. It was a corner of Coleraine Avenue in North Bend. We did that about 3-4 years. Then I started a wholesale sporting goods company. I did that for 30 years. But I could see everything was changing. The box stores were coming in. The internet came in, and I sold wholesale only, and it was changing. So I said, what's something that the big box stores isn't going to take over right away? And I figured a restaurant, because we had experience in a restaurant before with a pizza place and stuff. So that's how I got to where I am.
Sharon, so you're from Cincinnati?
I'm from Cincinnati, from the west side of Cincinnati, and we actually met on Daytona Beach. So a little funny story. I was walking down the beach, and he was standing on his head doing yoga with his guitar laying in front of him. And I thought he looked interesting, so I went over and introduced myself.
Yeah.
Works every time.
Works every time.
Yeah.
I'll take note.
For future reference.
Next time I go back to Daytona Beach.
Okay. But I had some restaurant experience, but just in serving when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a farm out on State Route 380, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and so I was cooking all the time at home, but I never cooked in a restaurant situation before. So coming into the restaurant and doing that was a whole different experience.
Mm-hmm. We had her mom had a cookbook that she wrote, and her mom's a great cook. And my sister came down. She's a little Italian girl, and she had a lot of Italian recipes. She saved us about 6 months.
Yeah.
And helped us out too.
So you guys together had a farm at some point?
Yeah.
We rented, our land was rented out, but it was a 10.5 acre farm down on 380. That's where we raised the kids. And so I did a lot of canning and preserving of stuff that we raised on the farm. And we raised beef cattle.
Okay.
Had a horse. We had the whole farm experience with the kids. And then we had a lot of kids in the house, so I was always cooking for a lot of my kids and their friends and stuff like that. But it's a whole different thing than coming into the restaurant and learning, not being a trained chef or cook, to learn how to reproduce the same thing every time with the same quality in the restaurant. So that was a big learning curve for me.
And our
So,
oldest son had to touch too.
yeah. And
He's really good.
when he was probably 16, they have the career days at school, and he said if there was anything he could ever choose to do, it would be to go to culinary school, but he never had the opportunity to do that. So instead, he learned
from you guys.
hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one thing to prepare for like your family, but then to have people pay you for what you make and, like you said, make it
Right, and it
consistently
has
is
to be
another-
the same every time. The quality has to be the same. The ingredients have to be the same.
Mhm.
So that was, like I said, that was a big learning curve.
Pretty much got it down with science now, though. So
Yeah.
19 years. So
Yeah. I'm going to dig into your guys' story a little bit because that's a lot to unpack, I feel like. So, Tony, you grew up in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you live there before you were on the beach in Daytona?
Oh,
Here.
again, I moved down there when I was around 20. I go back and forth sometimes.
Okay.
But he was he was 28 when I met him.
Right.
So.
What did you do in Connecticut? What was your life like there?
Just factory work back then. And I worked in factories probably about 10 years. So I guess I did leave a little early after that, maybe 25 when I went down to Daytona. And I ended up working for Greeks in a pizza place. And I learned a lot there. And I thought these guys, they would work for the merchant marines, the Greek merchant marines, and they would jump ship when they got to the United States, couldn't speak English. They could go and sleep in somebody's store until they got enough money saved up to have their own store. They'd open up a pizza place or something like that. And they're driving Cadillacs. I said, here I am. I'm an American and I'm working for this guy that can't speak English. So how does that work? So that gave me a lot of incentive to do it myself instead of working for somebody else.
So when you met Sharon, you were working at a pizza joint in Daytona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were in Cincinnati. What were you doing growing up?
Well, kind of middle class, my mom and dad, my brother, and my dad was a chemist. So my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And it was, during the 70s, there was a lot of stuff going on socially. And, the world was kind of changing at that time. And I kind of had a wanderlust. So, my mom and dad were doing their thing. And by the time I was 17, I was out of the house and I hitchhiked to Florida. So that's where I met him.
Hitchhike to Florida?
Yeah, with a girlfriend.
Okay.
And I don't recommend that. If my kids ever did anything like that when they were growing up, I probably would have killed them. But it was a different time.
Yeah.
So, and I like I said, I worked in different restaurants as a server. I did that. I worked at Frisch's and down in Cincinnati at different pizza places and stuff. So I never really wanted to be in the restaurant business because I knew it was really hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And, and if you've ever worked in a restaurant, it's just really hard work. And, but I mean, for us, it's worked out good because all our kids were young when we did it and they all needed jobs. And so they started out there and they learned the ropes from, the beginning until they were old enough to be responsible and be able to take it on their own hands. And as a mother in the restaurant, I got to work with my adult children for, over 10 years. And that's hard, but it's also really cool.
Because a lot of times your kids move on and might go down to another state or something. You get to see them once or twice a year.
Right.
So we've got our whole family, right?
Instead, I saw them every day. And if I want to see them now, I can
go over there too.
Stop right in the restaurant. My grandkids are working here too. So
that's nice. I feel like I don't hear a lot about kids who stay in the family business or things like that. So it's cool you guys made a business and an environment that your kids want to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I said, there's good and there's bad about it. Like our daughter, there was times where we were all fighting. They were still siblings. They were in the kitchen screaming at each other, and I'm their mother, and I'm like, you can't talk to each other like that. The customers can hear. Yeah.
We're Italian too. So,
he is. They are.
Yeah.
So she went back to college and she got another job. She couldn't do it.
That's hilarious. So when you met Tony in Daytona, did you guys date long distance for a while or was it immediately?
No.
We got together maybe 6 months and we got married.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then were you guys living in Daytona for any amount of time, or did you move
For
out
a
to Cincinnati?
while, yeah. And we decided we want to travel again.
We wanted to walk the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
We took off and back to Connecticut. We lived up there for a while.
And then I was pregnant with Nick, our oldest.
So it's time to settle down.
We had to go get jobs again and
Yeah.
come back to reality. So.
And then is that what brought you back to Ohio then?
Oh, wow.
That was a long... I got a sales job down in Florida. So we went back down to Florida, and we both worked for the same company. But the company turned out to be a multi-million-dollar fraud.
A scam.
And they were selling water filters, and I would go out and I would set up distributors, and I went all over. We traveled all over the South doing that. We didn't have no clue what was going on. Well, we got up to Dayton, and I was stationed there for a couple of weeks. And Sharon says, we can stay with my mom and dad while you're there. So we stayed with them, and I started just trying to sell these water filters up in Dayton, and people were saying, I've heard of your company before. You guys been around here before. You guys are a bunch of crooks. I said, what? I had no clue. So I called my boss, and they sent another guy up there, and he even pretty much told me, he says, you don't want to be in this business. He let me know that it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So I think I got fired or I quit. I forget. But we got pretty much stuck in Cincinnati because we were staying at her mom's, and she was pregnant.
I was 8 months pregnant. So
here we are. We're stuck in Cincinnati. We thought we'd never live here. We're probably going to live in Connecticut or Florida or something.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Here we were stuck.
So about what year was that?
Well, Nick was born in 82. So
80, 81, yeah.
81, probably.
And then what year did you open up the Mediterranean?
Well, that's 2006.
Also, a lot happened between
them.
Yeah,
a lot happened.
Okay. I'm jumping too far ahead then. So what did you guys do in the meantime?
Well, I said I like to sell things and I like to play music.
He sold vacuum cleaners door to door for a while.
Did that.
It teaches you how to be a good salesman.
I did that for 4 years. So I figured I'd go work in a music store.
Because he plays music.
Right.
So that made sense.
I sold pianos and organs for Warlords here, and they had freestanding stores, which you don't see that anymore in freestanding stores and music stores. And then Willis bought them. I also worked for Willis for quite a while.
But I have to tell you a funny story. He got the job at the music store, and his job was going to be demonstrating pianos and organs.
But I'm a guitar player.
Right. So he didn't really play the keyboards. So he had to go at least learn one song so he could demonstrate it.
Right. But then I got the job, and they saw how I played. They'd make me go down to the basement.
They made him practice.
So I practiced 6-8 hours. I got pretty good at piano.
You got paid for it.
Got paid to do it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So you're in Cincinnati, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you move around anywhere else in the area before coming to Wilmington?
I stayed pretty much down.
Well, we moved to Fairfield, Ohio. And I think before that we moved to Lake Lorelei, which is where we had our second son.
Fayetteville.
And that I started going to church down in Tri-County by Cincinnati.
Which church?
I think it might have been it wasn't Tri-County or somebody got. I can't remember what it was, but it's been 40-something years.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got a job selling fishing tackle and sporting goods equipment just as a salesman, but his territory was Indiana. And, of course, they're an hour behind us part of the year. And so because of the time change. And so we thought we would move closer to Indiana, and that way it wouldn't be so hard for him to go to work. And so that's how we ended up in Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
So we were there for 4 years.
The company was out of Hamilton, so that guy ended up going out of business, and that's where myself and one of my customers started a wholesale sporting goods company.
Well, it was the same week we moved into Fairfield that he had it out with his boss for the reason we moved to Fairfield.
Mm.
And he ended up quitting his job, and here we had a new place to live, a baby on the way, and no job. And so
that's when we started the pizza place first.
Right. We started the pizza place.
And was it in Fairfield or Hamilton?
It was down in Cincinnati on Colerain Avenue.
Yeah.
Right. Colerain and North Bend.
But you were living in Fairfield at that
time?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Fairfield. I went to school there until my sophomore year of high school. So I kind of
Ross Road. We lived on Ross Road.
Okay.
Yeah, right across from the country club. we would have bought that house and stayed there, but it was a rental and the guy wouldn't sell it to us.
We tried, yeah.
Which was good in the end. We're glad we didn't end up staying there.
Crazy down there.
So so your first business that you started yourself was the pizza place?
Right.
And that lasted for 3 years, you said?
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah.
How did you start that? How did you
I bought an Angelo's. We had some money, saved away, and bought an Angelo's, and I invited my ex-brother-in-law up from Florida because he works for the Greeks too. So he brought the Greek recipes for the pizzas and stuff like that. And we did pretty good there. But then I started the wholesale sporting goods company. So I ended up selling my interest to...
But you have to tell a story about how that started.
What?
Which one?
Gary, with the wholesale sporting goods company.
Just one of my customers.
From the pizza place?
From when he was just a salesman, he'd go in and he'd sell stuff out of a catalog, and he made friends with different customers.
Right. And he helped me to get started. He bought me a truck and put stuff inside of it.
Well, he said God told him to do it.
Yeah.
I had a big box truck, and I'd have all the stuff in there, and I'd just go to different retail stores and sell it to retail stores.
How did you get your supplies?
Through him and I, we had
he was a wholesaler. Right. Yeah. He had a retail store in Columbus. He still does, and a wholesale store.
Right.
But I think the coolest part of that story is the part where God told him to do that, because he didn't really know Tony very good.
Yeah.
But he bought the truck, he put the shelves in it, he stocked it, and he handed Tony the title to the truck and the keys and said, "Come back after you sell this stuff."
That's crazy.
And who does stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
His dad said, "What are you, nuts?
You don't even know this guy."
You know this guy at all.
Yeah.
But we're partners for 30 years.
Yeah.
After that.
Right.
So what year did that start? About 85?
1985, yeah.
85?
Yeah.
So what's 30 years? 85, 95. So 2015? So
I just sold it a few years back.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, still going.
You see a truck riding around Wilmington with Tony's Wholesale on it.
Wholesale.
Okay. So did you branch out from sports, or was it just sports?
Outdoor sports, hunting and fishing.
Okay.
Up to 400 customers at one time, 2 trucks.
And then did you also have a career during this time when he was doing that business?
No, I stayed home, took care of the kids. And then when the kids were pretty well grown, I got a job at Clinton Massey working with the multiply handicapped kids. And that was the year that they brought the kids back to Clinton Massey, where they used to take them to other schools because they didn't really have room for that classroom. And so that was an interesting experience because it was different for Clinton Massey because they really hadn't had the multiply handicapped kids in the school. And so I did that until after we opened the restaurant, and then I had to make a choice because I had to be there at 7:00 in the morning to get the kids off the bus. And then I had to go from there to the restaurant after school closed and then work until the restaurant closed. And I couldn't do both of them because when you're working with kids like that, it takes all of your attention. You can't come to school tired. You have to be, you have to be on your game to be there with those kids that need so much attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to the part in your story when you were living in Fairfield. How did you get to Wilmington?
Well, we wanted to live in the country.
Okay.
And I always wanted to live in the country. I didn't like being surrounded by houses too close or too many people.
One of my customers was, in fact, Tackletown up on 380.
It's closed now. But
I was there one day, and I asked him, I said, "Any place around here for sale?" Because you couldn't find anything between Cincinnati and Wilmington in between. There was just nothing. They said,
not for what we could afford.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There's an old farmhouse just right up the street. I go, "Oh, yeah." So let's go out and check it out. And it said, "For sale by owner." And we contacted them, and they said, "No, we just sold it."
Well, we got a contract on it.
Right.
Yeah. And they after we talked to them, they said, "Well, we would have wished we would have met you first. We would have sold it to you."
The Joneses Farms are super people.
But we prayed about it, and I just asked God. I figured that a signature on a piece of paper was not much for him. He created the heavens and the earth. So if we were supposed to have it, something would happen. And about a week later, we got a phone call from them, and the people backed out of the contract.
Oh, wow.
And they offered us the house. And
It's an old farmhouse,
yeah,
big barn.
it was built in 1807
10 acres. It was perfect for what we were
for
looking
raising the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clinton Massey School District was so small at that time. It was like one building, and it was kindergarten through 12th grade all in one building. And the school nurse was the nurse for kindergarten through 12th grade. And I liked that. I liked, I could go down one hallway and see one kid and then go down and see the other. And
Fairfield, so we didn't want to raise our kids.
that's a
in
big,
Fairfield.
that's a big place,
Yeah, it is big. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're happy to be in Clinton Massey School District too.
right.
Were your kids ever in Fairfield schools?
Our oldest was,
Yeah.
he went to Fairfield Central, I think.
Yeah.
Elementary school till the 2nd grade.
I think they tore that school down. Was that the school by the stadium? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
I'm 90% sure they tore it down to make a new building.
Yeah, probably because everything's changed down there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting way bigger now down there.
Yeah.
We're glad we're out of there.
Yeah. When we lived on Ross Road, you could turn right on Ross Road off of Route 4, but now you have to go around.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it's nice, but yeah, definitely different environment than Wilmington.
Oh,
great.
we love it here.
Yeah.
So what year did you move to Wilmington? Do you remember?
1990. Yeah.
1990.
But again, we lived way up there on 380. And we never came to Wilmington very much because Xenia was closer, 7 miles. So we'd go out shopping, banking, all that stuff in Xenia. We hardly ever came down here. But I got called to the grand jury one time and went to the grand jury, and I could not believe all the stuff that was happening.
In your Irving community.
Right. The Bloods and the Crips were in
Xenia?
No,
in Wilmington.
Oh, Wilmington.
Yeah.
And just murders. That's a Carrie Culberson murder was going on.
As the grand jury, you hear everything. And
Right.
you decide whether or not there's enough evidence to go to court. So if you serve for a month, I think.
No, 3 months.
3 months? Is that what it
once
was?
a month
Yeah.
for 3 months.
So I got to hear a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. I thought Wilmington's a nice little quaint little farm town, and all the stuff that was going on. And it's funny because we were going to church down in Loveland, and they had a speaker come out there and saying, "Be part of your community," and we're thinking, well, we don't
We go to church here.
Go to church in Loveland. They go
shopping in Xenia.
Right, we're not part of our community at all. So we ended up changing churches, and we started going to Wilmington Fellowship.
Okay.
Wilmington Christian Fellowship, which is Dove Church now in town.
Well, the reason we went there is because our oldest son met his future wife in school, and her family went to church there.
All right, and they invited us, and we really liked it. So.
And the first time we went to church there, they were having a meeting about finding a building, about possibly opening an inner city ministry in Wilmington. And Alan Willoughby, I don't know if you know Alan, but Alan is our son's father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Right. And
Small world,
so we were interested in the idea of being part of
your
something
community.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were on the ground floor when Alan started that, but just running the coffee bar because,
And
I was on the board for years and years.
running the coffee bar at Sugar Tree Ministries.
Well, it was over on Sugar Tree.
Yeah.
And
Mulberry.
we helped, Sugar Tree and Mulberry, and we helped fix up the building with Alan and his wife Bonnie, and the kids all helped too. And then when Alan opened it, Alan has a lot of connections in the Christian music world, so it was a music ministry for the youth, and so they built a little coffee bar too. So our older teenage kids, Nick and Amber, got to hang out together because they liked each other, and so they set it up as a coffee bar, and so we all went in every weekend and ran the coffee bar, and we learned a lot through that too.
Great bands came through there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Alan had a lot of connections in the music world, so we met a lot of people and had a lot of fun.
Right.
And a lot of people would drop their kids off there, for the evening, and they knew they were in good hands, and so that felt good too, because we got to, get to know the kids and be a part of their lives and stuff too. So
it was your experience going to the Dove Church or the Christian Fellowship at the time and Sugar Tree Ministries that really brought you to Wilmington.
Yeah, more to be
we're part of the community, and we felt now we're doing something.
And then when our kids had friends that they wanted to bring to church, we didn't have to drive 40 miles to Loveland. We could come right here, and if they wanted to be involved in stuff, they were here in the community, so they could be involved in things that were going on in their own backyard. So it made a lot more sense. to do that because you can't affect your community if you're not part of your community.
Yeah. So, okay. That's a lot. You guys have
Yeah.
a very full life.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. How many kids do you guys have?
3.
3 kids?
Yeah.
So at least a daughter and a son.
Yeah, 2 sons and a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 2 sons are involved in the restaurant.
Okay.
And then their wives are both from Wilmington too, and they're both
Working.
involved in the restaurant. And they're all part owners of the restaurant.
All right. It was partners.
Right.
Partners.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just been interesting to see those dynamics too, because they all met when they were young and they've been together like since they were kids. And then Nick and Amber are the only one that have had children so far. And so their kids have been raised in the restaurant too. That's, always been a part of their life. And now Audrey and Blaine, the older ones, work in the restaurant. So,
And even their significant others work in the restaurant.
right. So it just keeps going.
It's all family.
Your grandkids?
Our grandkids,
and
boyfriend and girlfriend all work in the restaurant
That's
too.
crazy. That sounds kind of messy. Like it could get like very...
It could be messy. Yeah,
It
that's what I said in the beginning.
yeah.
So my daughter
But
said,
you
I
need to-
can't do this.
Yeah.
But every year we close and we go on vacation. We take
Together.
everybody.
Right.
We usually have about 12, 14 people.
With 13 on average now that we all go together, and we probably don't ever talk
Never
about the
talk.
restaurant.
Never talk about business. All just enjoy each other.
Well, we did. We prayed before we opened the restaurant. They had a prayer thing. It wasn't Dove back then, but the church, and everybody walked around and prayed in front of different buildings and stuff. And we prayed in front of the restaurant before it opened with a group. And my prayer was that we would never put business first. That family would always be first. It wouldn't be about money. It would be about, the people that were there and our family.
Mhm.
And so it's, it's hard like to even close for 10 days and miss 2 weekends. And, you're losing a lot of money, but the most important thing is that we are a family first.
We probably did that every year since we've been open.
Yeah.
Just close up and go on vacation together.
So it's
Yeah.
not good business, but
Like Chick-fil-A closes every Sunday and
Right.
they're still making it. So
yeah, I know. So, it's just, you make choices and then you try to do what you think is best. And I think, you have to stick to what your priorities are. So that's our priority.
So what year, again, did you say you opened up the Mediterranean?
2006.
2006.
Yeah. And that was a fiasco too, because it took so long to it was a bank. So it took a couple years to turn it into a restaurant. And then the week we were supposed to open, we had all our food and supplies in, and his dad died. And so we had his dad, mom and dad are from Connecticut, but they were living in Wilmington. And so we had to take his dad's body back to Connecticut. So we gave everything to Sugar Tree, all the perishable food. And then
Came back.
we did the
after.
funeral and then came back and opened the next week. So it was,
That's pretty heavy.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really heavy.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Did your dad help you start the restaurant or?
No, he was really in
He had
beginning
different
states of
Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Alzheimer's. Yeah, but he did come in and he just was proud that
Yeah.
this is your place. Yeah, even with Alzheimer's, he kind of knew what was going on.
Every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad helped me do some work in our building here, so I could imagine.
Right.
Yeah. So one thing, just real quick, what are you guys involved with right now in the community? Are you still involved with Dove Church? And
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Dove, yeah. So go to Dove. And I was on the worship team for 20 years.
Mhm.
So I finally I just retired from that too. But
But he had some surgery on his
Wrist
wrist,
stuff.
and it's not as easy for him to play. So that was a tough one.
because we always played in a restaurant. Usually Tuesday nights we'd have live music too, and I kind of miss that. Again, I'm older, and a lot of my friends are passing away, so then we don't have the same guys around.
You had music at the Mediterranean?
We used to every.
Was it at the front up there in the corner? I
Yeah.
remember seeing sound stuff. I didn't know you
Yeah.
actually performed there.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
still the keyboard's still sitting up there.
Yeah.
I mean, they could still do it, but
Yeah, we do once in a while. It's
Yeah.
something. Christmas we usually do something around Christmas too.
Pretty cool. Did you guys ever get involved with any other community groups or politics or anything?
And
No,
stay
we try to stay out of politics.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of strong opinions,
sure.
but
Yeah,
it's just, it doesn't do you any benefit as a business owner to get involved in politics.
got to definitely be neutral.
I mean, I used to have a lot of bumper stickers on my car, and I'd drive around, with my
yeah.
shirt on, my Mediterranean shirt, and I'd stop at the store, and I thought, what if I, cut somebody off on the road, and then they're like, oh, that's that lady from the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you have to, I do think about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and, I don't want to affect how people
Or offend.
offend, right? I guess. I don't
Yeah.
want to offend people.
Yeah.
So,
It's like a Michael Jordan quote about like how Republicans and liberals both buy sneakers, and he didn't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at.
Everyone buy. Yeah.
A lot of people have burned their bridges lately,
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. We always ask this question. You guys have talked a lot about your lives already, but I'll just ask this specific question. What's a defining moment of your life that's helped make you who you are or shape your values and personality? Sounds like you both have pretty strong Christian faiths.
Yeah,
that definitely.
Yeah, I think that would be my defining moment for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's really turned my life around too. Again, because I grew up in the 60s and it was hippie days. I get my driver's license until I was 23. I hitchhiked everywhere like she did and just, didn't work. I worked maybe 4 days a week and take the rest of the week off. And so, again,
Yeah, when I met him, he had yogurt and beer in the refrigerator and he worked part-time.
What a catch.
Yeah, exactly. I can see my future here.
Yeah.
But for me, I was 23 and my friend that I grew up with was 25 and she was brutally murdered down in Cincinnati. And when I went to her funeral, I just, she had wanted to move in with us because she was going through problems in a relationship, and that's the guy that ended up killing her. And I had a neighbor that was witnessing to me about her relationship with Christ. And when I went to my friend's funeral, I just knew that there had to be something more, to life. And that I realized that it was having a relationship with Christ. And so for me, that was really a defining moment. And the guy that murdered her, when he finally was put to death, he was the oldest person on death row in the United States. He was on death row for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
And by the time he was up for his execution, he claimed that he couldn't remember the murder because he had dementia, so he shouldn't be put to death for it. But he was. So, but I also had to grapple with how I felt about the death penalty. So I had to do a lot of searching in the Bible to see what I thought about that. And so for me, that was a huge defining moment. And it also made me realize how important my family was, that was the most important thing to me, and that there was nothing else that was going to come between me and my family. So, and my relationship with God was important. So that's,
That's a big event.
that was a big event.
Losing a friend and yeah.
And in a horrible way like that too. So, and she was struggling, and I wished I could have helped her, but I didn't have enough time to help her. So,
yeah. Well, it sounds like she got justice 25 years later.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But maybe the family.
Yeah. For the family, it was. I mean, that's what they needed to.
Yeah.
Have the conclusion of everything, because it bothered him. It bothered them that he was still.
Yeah.
Still had a life for all those years. So
yeah, it's not really justice because you're not bringing anybody back to life. But
right.
It is some kind of closure, I guess.
But at least there's a punishment for.
Yeah, for sure.
For taking a life. So that's But for me, that was definitely pivotal in my life.
Were you guys together at that point?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Young married.
Yeah. And our oldest, Nick, I think he was 2 years old when that happened. And then right after that was when we moved up to Lake Lorelei, which was kind of a healing place too. I don't know if you know anything about Lake Lorelei. It's just like a little private community on the lake. And we had a little rowboat and we take Nick out on the lake, and it was nice. It was just real calm. And I always craved being out in the country. So I really needed that peace to try and reconcile what had happened. So
you guys both started going to church at the same time, and
She went first.
yeah,
She's probably saved a year before I did.
yeah,
But again, it's been 40 years for me. So we've known the Lord for a long time.
yeah. So besides her dragging you to church, like, what was your like reasons for like your faith, your personal faith?
Well, I was still kind of new agey.
we both were.
Yeah.
In the beginning, yeah.
Oh man, you can just meditate and do yoga. It's the same thing.
You'll find God.
Yeah. Is that the era of like the Jesus movement?
Oh
Is that a
yeah,
thing?
yeah. We
Yeah.
both grew up in the Jesus movement,
Yeah.
which was Alan did too. Alan Woody,
Yeah.
and that's why I think why we really clicked. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, we're the same era.
right? They're our best friends, but I mean, they're my son's in-laws, and so all our holidays and stuff were spent together with our grandkids. They had never had to go from place to place, and that's kind of unusual too. So,
Yeah. That's fun.
but
Do they go to church with you guys?
yeah, they go to Dove. Yeah,
So you were telling about your personal story
yeah.
with the Lord, or how did you decide it was like important in your life to be a Christian?
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. It was really weird. A friend of mine that I brought up from Florida and started the pizza place together. That's when I got that saved. We're in a pizza place. He says, "Man, I met this guy. He's driving around in a Jeep, and he's got this church I've been going to." And he says, "Really cool." He says they play instruments. They play guitars. I mean, this is back in the early '80s. So somebody playing a guitar in the church was like unheard of. Playing acoustic guitars, man. You got to come check it out. So I started going, and they put you right in front, and it was really good music, really good stuff. And I'm really enjoying it. And they start singing a song. It's an old Jimmy Swagger song, believe it or not. That's how long I've been saved since Jimmy Swagger. And he was there all the time, waiting patiently in line. He was there all the time. And then my eyes closed, I could see this line, and I saw like Jesus kind of staying out in the line, and he's in that line waiting for me, waving. And I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I mean, I seen a big white flash. Whoa. A lot of people, it don't happen like that, but it was just instant for me. It really was. It was like, he's been waiting for me, right in the line, waiting out right here, waiting on me. Oh, gee, I start crying. And,
Of course, I was praying for that. So.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how it happened. And it's been great ever since. It's been a wonderful life.
Yeah. So some great friendships with Alan and the community. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. A lot of stuff so far. So the Mediterranean, again, so many things have happened. What was the year that it opened? 2015?
No.
So
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, 06.
Yeah, 06.
And then was 2015 when you sold the wholesale business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were working.
That was probably.
It was after that.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah. Well, let's see, how many years has it been? 6 years?
Yeah, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was probably like 2018, maybe.
To John Sodini. Do you know the Sodinis?
I do know them. I bought this building from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably bought it from Joe.
From Joe. Yeah.
But
This is
John, his
brother.
brother, is the one that
Brother.
bought Tony's wholesale.
Well, that's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Small world.
They're good friends of ours, too.
Right. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. So you're doing both at the same time? You had the wholesale business
Yeah.
plus the Mediterranean restaurant?
Right.
But he worked full-time at the fishing
tackle.
tackle. Yeah.
Okay, so how did the Mediterranean start? Like you were just driving past a building and said, "I'm going to buy
Yes.
this."
I actually had my nephew came from Connecticut. He said, "I got to get out of here. I'm going to go to jail." So,
And he had attended the culinary school on Hudson Bay, but he didn't graduate, but he had attended it. So he had an interest in cooking.
so we got talking, and I said, man, we could start a restaurant. Plus, he was a builder too.
Mm.
So we started looking for a building, and we found that it used to be the telephone company at first.
And
Really?
then
Then the counties had it for a while.
and then the bank
And then
owned
the
it.
bank had it for a while, and we bought it off from the bank.
Which bank do you remember?
It was National City.
National City. Okay.
Right.
So it wasn't set up for a restaurant at all. There was no
No.
cooking stuff.
It was
in
It was
office.
just a records place.
Right.
They had like
Oh.
floors, raised floors with air conditioners and heaters underneath, and they stored all their records in that
Interesting.
building and computers and
Yes.
stuff.
Cuticles where people worked in there.
Great. It was weird.
Yeah. So you wanted to start some kind of business for you said your cousin?
My nephew.
Your nephew.
Right.
With
Between all of us. And he stayed for almost till it was finished. It was still a little rough. Yeah, it wasn't all the way, but he went back to Connecticut. He just
It didn't work
out.
Yeah, with him.
So I finished fixing and bringing it back up to ready to open.
Right.
It was rough. I mean, it was tough getting. It was like I always thought of the spruce goose, getting that off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big endeavor.
It was an albatross.
Right.
Yeah. It was tough.
It's because
it was hard on everybody in the family.
Money-wise, I mean, that was
done.
Everything I had was in it. And every credit card I had was maxed out. So, but we...
So did you get a good deal on it, or like you saw this?
I got a really good deal on the
building. Yeah,
no, the construction and the supply.
Twice as much as the building, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know how that is.
Twice as much that I paid for the building for it. And
I heard that you bought it one day, and then you told her like, "Hey, I bought this building," and you're like, "What? Is that what happened or no?" Like,
well, actually, I found the building online.
Oh, you found it,
but I didn't think he was really going to buy it. I just thought it was like an idea, like going out and kicking tires and stuff. And then it was, I think we paid it, 100 and whatever it was for it. And it was just, for the square footage of the building, it needed work. I mean, it wasn't a restaurant or anything, but we just couldn't pass it up. So he wanted to do it, and I was on board with it. I couldn't foresee what was going to happen in the future, but I just thought give it a chance. He's always had an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, it sounds like very sales oriented.
Yeah, and even if it looked like nothing was ever going to work out, he always thinks it's going to work out, and that's the true entrepreneurial spirit. You don't look at the things that could fail; you look at the things that could succeed.
Never even consider it,
right? And and I guess I'd seen him do it before, so I thought, well, okay, I guess we'll take a chance. My dad was alive at the time, and my dad said, you were in your 50s. My dad said, who does that when they're in their 50s? You don't do that. Risk everything that you've built in your life when you should be almost ready to retire. Then our kids were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's my heritage.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now they got more.
Yeah,
nice.
They do. Yeah.
So how long did it take to renovate the space?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I kept working the other business too. My oldest son started helping me with the fishing tackle so I could work at the restaurant getting it finished because it was still been rough. A lot to go yet just to get it up to snuff.
Was your plan always just to have like the restaurant? You have an upstairs too, right?
Yeah.
Did you plan to do anything with that space?
We did. We used to. Yeah.
Banquet up there is really nice.
It's all fixed up, and we have full table up there, and we did banquets and events and stuff for years. And then when the pandemic hit,
COVID.
The kids, I did all the parties upstairs and stuff, and then Nick our oldest son was just learning how to do that because it's a whole different part of the business. And we don't have an elevator or anything, so everything has to be hauled upstairs and hauled back downstairs, which is a lot of work, and you're asking a server to do a lot of that stuff. And so after we reopened and everything got back to normal, they just didn't really want to do it, and maybe they will eventually, but I'm not there to do it anymore. So it's
they're talking about it.
Right. We're at that stage right now where it's kind of, they have to figure out how they want to do it. So
could you install an elevator in that building?
And we talked about it.
Yeah.
Even for
a dumbwaiter. We talked about a dumbwaiter.
And just all the emergency stuff and safety features. Man, he's talking like $30,000 for a dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also talked about, which was in the master plan, was because we own it's a 3-story garage in back of the restaurant that faces the Methodist church. And so we have an area between that would be a great outdoor dining area.
Oh, yeah.
But that might be something in the future too.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But that's, it's not, it's kind of out of our hands now.
Right.
It's whatever the kids want to do. So,
yeah.
But it has potential for all of that.
Is there not like a dumbwaiter space? So like, I can see the side of your building from the back of mine, and there's that like door up top that just like covered up, but it's just a door outside that falls off.
Right?
Was that a spot for like deliveries or something?
It was a telephone company way back when. They were roll-up doors.
Okay,
and then they used to bring in equipment, they would haul it up and put it through through that. But that's been all sealed off now.
From the inside, you can't even
Inside
see
and
it.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even think about getting into there.
But because it was the General Telephone Company, the electric in that building is like unbelievable.
Everything's the best.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And it also was a tornado shelter when the city owned the building. So the kids would always worry if the weather gets bad. And I'm like, you're in one of the safest places in town. So, you know.
Is it true that there's a creek in the basement?
Yep.
Is it an exposed creek?
It's a river, actually.
A river?
Yeah.
Okay. It goes under ours and it goes under the courthouse.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it probably goes on under other buildings that we don't know of. But so we've got, that runs all the time. And then
Have pumps all the time.
we have to have pumps going all the time. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I had somebody look at it before I bought the building because I thought that was really weird. I said, man, that's quaint.
That's quaint.
Don't worry about it. A lot of other people have the same thing going on.
And I don't know what year that building was built, but we have some really old pictures of it. So I know it's been around for a long time. It had a completely different facade on it when it was older. It was really cool. And then somebody modernized it, so it's more square.
Right in the parking lot next to us used to be the Lomax Theater because we had 2 theaters in town.
The parking lot next to the tax building?
Right, yeah.
Right there.
That was the theater.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That used to be a theater.
We've got pictures. If you go in the restaurant in the hallway, there's some pictures of some of that stuff. Our building's in one of those pictures, too.
Yeah, a lot of them has pictures on it.
I didn't know that's what that was. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how did you decide on the type of food that you were going to serve and the name of your restaurant?
What we were involved in, again, was that a lot of the Greek food ideas we brought back from working with those guys. And we thought the Mediterranean, because you can cover the Mediterranean Sea.
It
and
gave you a lot of options.
Spain, France,
Africa. I mean, you could do anything.
Italy, so there's a lot of things to choose from. Well, what happened was everybody thought we were a Mediterranean, Mid-Eastern.
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah.
And
I think it slowed us down a lot.
Well, it did because, I mean, the community has changed a lot in the last 19 years. And being a farming community and a lot of people not really, going out in the world and traveling and stuff. And I think a lot of people didn't understand what the Mediterranean meant.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot more Greek items on the menu when we opened up. And then we have a really cool sign that Daniel Terry made us, but it didn't say Italian on it. And we would have people that wouldn't come in the restaurant because they thought we were Middle Eastern. And so I had that sign made that said Italian to kind of classify us as Italian.
Yeah.
And so that helped a little. But through the years, we ended up getting less Greek stuff, more Italian stuff.
It's a lot of Greek stuff.
Right, but we had more in the beginning. We had more Greek things on the menu. So
we have falafel and
we do. Yeah, we do. We have some stuff that people really liked, and those are the things we kept. So it's always a journey in a restaurant, especially starting out like that, is to find out what the community likes, you know. So
we've had people, several times people come up to me and said, "What is Italian food?" And
we did in the beginning. They didn't understand what Italian food was.
Oh, really? Pizza.
I had some older guy come in and ask me what lasagna was, and I described it to him, and I brought some out and showed it to him. Then he asked, "What's a manicotti?" And I showed it to him. He was from the country, We
live in a meat and potatoes area,
Well, when he was selling fishing tackle in Indiana, somebody invited him to lunch. And what did they call?
I said, he comes down after lunch, he's patting his stomach. He says, "What'd you have for lunch?" I said, "I had noodles with red gravy and hamburger balls." I'm thinking, noodles, red gravy, and hamburger balls. Oh, spaghetti.
Yeah. You didn't call it that, though?
No.
Oh, man. Red gravy.
Yeah, red gravy and hamburger balls.
Oh, that was some bread gravy.
No, red gravy.
Red gravy.
Noodles, red gravy, and hamburger balls. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we didn't have that happen at the restaurant, but after that experience, I thought, well, maybe we need to be more specific about things. So
who creates your menu? And
Nick does now. Nick and Chris both work in the kitchen, our 2 boys, and Nick did all the graphics and stuff. He's come a long way.
Yeah.
I think our last menu, we had some help from GFest. They came in and he did the menu, and then they did the final thing for us, which was kind of cool because we never had anybody really help us do that.
Like they helped you with the design and then
The
also
design and all that
items?
stuff, all the graphics. I mean, the boys pick the menu items and what changes they're going to make and prices and all that stuff. But he's really good on computers. If he wasn't in the restaurant, he'd probably be doing something with computers. So that's kind of a gift.
Your new menu is nice. I was just eating there like Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
You guys changed your menu recently, right?
We did.
Last year, maybe?
We hadn't changed it 7 years, and then we changed it about, 6 months ago.
What are some of the things that, like the big things that changed on the menu? I know like the salads are different now.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the big one.
I miss the old salads, but the new salads are still like super good.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says if you like a new salads.
Yeah.
What it comes down to, everything is homemade from there, I mean, we make our own sauces, bread is homemade, all the dough for the pizza and the calzones is homemade, desserts are homemade, soups are homemade. See, most places you go to and you get a pizza that kind of all tastes the same
because they're buying it from their supplier already.
They open up the can, everybody opens the same can up, puts the same stuff on.
They buy the crust already made.
It's frozen crust.
They buy the cheese already grated. A lot of places do that.
Everything's homemade. We're closed Monday, but they're in there preparing Monday all day long,
right,
and getting stuff cooked. Getting the stuff ready for the week.
Doing all their prep. I mean, there's prep all week, but that's the big prep day, like to make bread and stuff like that. So it's hard. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Like I said, working in the restaurant is just hard work.
But it sounds like it's worth it. I mean, your family and you're making it, I guess.
Yeah.
19 years. I mean, finally, I think we're established. So.
Yeah. What's your guys' personal favorite dish on the menu?
I always really like the lasagna. I love lasagna.
Yeah, it's fire.
And the seafood. I think Nick does them in the noodles now. He used to do them in seafood shells. And
now it's like
and during the pandemic, we couldn't get seafood shells. They didn't sell them anywhere. We looked just in the grocery stores and stuff. Couldn't get them from a supplier, so he had to change the noodle that we stuffed the seafood in. And so Nick just kept it different. So
people like our pizza.
Yeah, I love our pizza.
Great calzones.
Yeah.
Gyros are great.
Yeah.
They are really good. Yeah. I feel like gyros are one of those things that I always hesitate to order because I'm like, it's going to be dry and not flavorful. And I got yours once just because I was like, want something lighter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like so good.
They do all that meat from scratch. They make all the gyro meat and stuff, buy the lamb and I was going to say, what was my other favorite thing? The spinach artichoke dip. That's one of my favorites. And hummus. That's one of our Greek items that stayed.
We make like 60 gallons of that a week.
Yeah. And then the pita chips with the hummus, when we first opened up, we were trying to find a different way to do them. And my daughter and I used to go everywhere and try different hummuses because we liked hummus. And everybody served them they cut the pita and then they didn't cook it or anything. It was just soft. And so we put them in the deep fryer and then we spice them up. And so, I'm not telling those spices. Yeah. They're obviously fried. But I like it better because it's got a little flavor to it and it works better with the hummus. So I thought that was we had a different take on it. So
I can see that being more popular too. People who are more familiar with like Mexican restaurants and chips and sauce.
They like the chips.
The chips. Yeah. It's a good idea. What were some of the challenges of starting the business when you first opened? What wasn't a challenge when you first?
We were so busy that the boys would go outside and play football.
We were so slow.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the kitchen doing prep work, and they were tossing the football in the back of the restaurant.
It was quiet. It took quite a
That didn't last very long. But
in the beginning, it was pretty slow. So.
Yeah.
How did you get the clientele, the traffic up?
We'd go right out and put menus on people's doors and stuff like that, leave them at the hotels and stuff. And
then I tried to participate in anything that was going on. We had the Banana Split Festival and there were competitions for dessert. And so I did that. And then they had a
go to the college
Super Bowl festival, you had to bring a soup, and then everybody voted on what was the best soup, and that's completely against my nature. I'm not the kind of person to go out and do stuff like that in public.
Yeah.
But in order to become successful, you have to.
And cooking show at the Roberts.
I did a cooking show at the Roberts.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, not my thing. Public speaking. You give me one-on-one, I'm good. But put me on a stage somewhere, it's really hard. So, but that just to get our name out there, and
you're on a good street though. You're right in the downtown. A lot of people.
That was the idea too. I didn't want to go out in the sprawl.
Right.
I wanted to be downtown and get the people, for lunch and courthouse and stuff. All that stuff now has moved out to the sprawl.
Right. Before they moved it out to David's Drive, we had a lot of people from the courthouse that came in for lunch and stuff, but now a lot of those people are gone.
Right.
But we have huge support from the Murphy Theater, anything that's going on at the Murphy. We're in the perfect location for that. And the World Equestrian Center. I mean, there's so many things in town that, bring people in that support the local businesses. When 2008, when, what was the
DHL?
Yeah, when they left, we were only open like a year and a half, and they left. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And
it was tough.
It was tough. It was really tough. And then, let's see, Glenn Beck came in town. And, at the time, the bookstore was still open downstairs. So they had like the Harry Potter festival. It was so busy that day. And then when Glenn Beck came to town, he brought people from all over the country just to spend money.
Yeah.
And I think my daughter made like $800 and something in tips that day.
Wow.
Working in the restaurant.
People came and bought cars from different states just to come to buy cars, just to spend money.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing to see how the people came and supported the community, and the community came together. And I mean, even during the pandemic, people still came, and they gave whoever was willing to work, our servers, the people that ran stuff out to the car, they tipped them well, and people kept, ordering stuff even though people weren't supposed to be out, and,
kept us alive.
They did. They've kept us alive all these years. So but 2008, 2009 was tough. Yeah, it was tough for everybody in the community. So,
one out of four.
I figured if we could survive that, we could survive anything.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
Well, that year they got, I think Obama was president, and there was some kind of infrastructure grants and stuff and all this. So they decided to tear up all the sidewalks in downtown Wilmington. So nobody was going, had money anyway. And then we had a board across from the road that people had to walk across the big gully where they were rebuilding everything to get into the restaurant. And I was like, is there anything else they can do to make it harder?
Yikes.
For business.
Yeah.
But people still walked across the board and came into the restaurant. So
that's crazy. You were saying one of four people?
Yeah, one of every four people worked at DHL at the time. So we had 25% unemployment.
We had the highest unemployment in the country at the time. And that's why Glenn Beck came. And Jay Leno gave a show out at the Roberts Center, comedy show. I think he did a couple of them. Rachel Ray came in and she redid Sugar Tree Ministry and then did her Thanksgiving show there. And that was all because we had the worst unemployment in the country. But back in the 90s, we were on the cover of Time magazine, and we were the best small town in the... No, I still have it as Time magazine. We were the best small town in the U.S. or something like that. I'd have to look at the cover. You have to look it up.
Yeah.
But so we went from that to...
Yeah. Was it like 18 years later?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We have interviewed Robin from Kairos Coffee on the podcast, and she's talked about...
She's a friend of ours.
Glenn Beck coming, all that time. That's crazy. I had just graduated high school in 2008, and I worked at Kings Island that summer. I remember guys working alongside me who had been let go from DHL, and how crazy that time was.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, a lot of farmers in this area worked there just for the insurance because they don't, insurance is expensive.
They work part-time, get insurance.
Right. They might work at night just enough to get insurance and then farm all day. And so they lost their jobs and their insurance, and It was tough. Yeah.
So after you survived that, what are some of your recent challenges in the business? Or is it kind of like established now and you're just enjoying?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I feel like things are, they're pretty
Leveled off.
Yeah.
Do you guys get involved with any like new technology stuff with like Uber Eats or things like that? Or
We've tried.
yeah.
We had Uber for a while coming, not Uber Eats, but the other one, that DoorDash. And that kind of started after the pandemic and stuff too. They started coming in. And I feel like I can't guarantee the quality of our food if somebody I know picks it up and delivers it to somebody. I don't know what happens to my product between when they pick it up at the counter. And I know everybody does it.
Out of the bag,
Yeah.
But and then at first they did it for free, and then they wanted to charge us a fee to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really like it anyway.
Yeah.
So, and that's just me. I'm older, maybe the kids will want to do that again, but
there's a lot of like those little tiny fees, man, that they want to.
The pandemic really helped our carry out because people started to come in and getting carry out all the time. And now that's still
right. And we tried delivery for a while during that time, but I mean, people were okay with coming in and picking food up. So it wasn't our kind of business. So
yeah,
we didn't stick with that. So
one thing that I do probably once every other month is I order carry out and then I come back to my house and I watch Ratatouille.
Right. You can do it. You can eat it.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm just experiencing the movie.
That's one of my favorite cartoons.
Yeah. It's the best. It's the best. What is your advice to people who are thinking of starting a restaurant?
Don't do it.
I thought you were going to say that. I just wanted to make sure.
Don't buy a building that you got to renovate to make it a restaurant. Buy something that's already up and running.
But I would say advice is if your family's interested, I mean, we have the best employees ever, and people don't call, our kids don't call in.
Yeah, they have no excuse.
Right, because they're invested in it. And maybe that would work with any employees, even if they weren't related. If they have an investment in the business, then they have the reason to come in because they're working for something that they benefit from.
I always thought Walmart should put everybody on commission. That way they do the best they could. They make sure they were there. And the more they sell, the more money they're going to make. I mean, I think everybody should be on commission.
Right. Because even when we struggle for employees, just like everybody else for different positions, but our main positions are always filled because it's all family members. And so, I mean, I know that everybody can't do that, but even if it's not your family, if you can allow your employees to have a stake in the business somehow, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're starting a business, make sure you have some kids to work.
Right.
That's your advice.
Have a big family.
Yeah. Okay. And then I heard that you guys have an anniversary coming up, 20 years?
Yeah, it'll be next October will be 20.
Yeah.
October 23rd is when we opened.
Do you have plans?
It was 19.
We'll work on it. Yeah, somebody this year asked, will there be cake? And I thought, no, but next year there'll probably be cakes.
Cakes? What do you mean? Like,
well,
free dessert.
We've done it before in the past. We just make cake and give cake to everybody when they come in and, just celebrate a birthday. So, yeah, we haven't worked on it yet, but we've got a year to work on it. So for 20 years, that's a big one.
Speaking of like 20 years, like what's one of your most proud accomplishments so far with the business or people you've served? It sounds like having a family.
Everything's paid off, the building's paid off, and we're really debt free, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, everybody still being together, working as a family. I think that's a big accomplishment. That's our biggest accomplishment. So,
well, I love what you guys do. Yeah. That's super good restaurant. Proud to bring people in town to there when they come.
4.6 rating.
4.6. Let's make it a 4.7.
Yeah, we need to get that up.
Are there any like stigmas or rumors that you've heard or things that just are silly and not true that you maybe want to just touch on? Things that you hear a lot of or not really?
No, not
Been
really.
on, things through the past, but we just
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing
Yeah.
that always cracks me up is people say, "Oh, I heard that place is under new management or new owners."
Yeah.
Oh, like,
It's a new generation.
no, yeah,
It's the grandkids now.
right.
they sold the place.
Yeah, they sold the place. It's new people, especially when you update the menu and you're like, oh, must be new people in
Yeah.
here.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. No-
I'd tell you one thing that used to bother me was like reviews because it
Mhm.
was the era when we opened up where people were first able to do that, get
Like Yelp
online
and stuff. Yeah.
and express their opinion. And
Yeah, critic.
yeah, everybody was
Yeah.
a food critic. You know? So, oh my God.
There's this, I probably shouldn't be saying this. There's this funny episode of South Park that is about that exact thing.
Yeah.
Where everyone in town thinks that they're a food critic now. And they deserve like special treatment when they go into a restaurant.
Yeah, you got to give me the best of everything.
Yeah. And there's like a joke that when people would say that, like the Yelp special would be like they'd put their hair in the food or something. You know? If they're going to get a bad review, they're going to trash them.
Yeah,
But,
those were hard at the beginning because that was a whole
Yeah.
different, I never experienced that before. And most of it was positive, but you get one negative one and you're like, oh my gosh, how can we fix this? You know?
yeah.
Thankfully, most of hers are good ones. So that's,
Yeah. I think people should realize, especially like local people, if they have an issue with a restaurant or business or something happened a certain time, they shouldn't bash it online because it's like,
Right.
Just gonna
give us a
Let
chance to
know.
fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
it hurts their own town too. Like we want restaurants to be here and to succeed.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of people do. I mean, they might forget something in it to go,
yeah.
something like that, and they call in and we say, okay, next time you come in, just let us know.
Yeah. We're going to wrap up with a few quick questions here. Why is what you do important to our community and what keeps you passionate to continue with your restaurant?
Just again, being part of the community is good. I mean, I'll be out front and I'll be sweeping or cleaning the outside of the building and people will go by and they'll beep and I'll wave. And I just feel like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a part of the community,
Mm-hmm.
the mayor's coming to eat there and, just different people that, are part of the community that we get to see all the time. And it just feels good just to be
Yeah.
Well,
there.
for me, I would say that I think we've had the opportunity through the years to make a difference in a lot of people's lives that have worked for us. When we've had people that have come in that were homeless and we've been able to help them get a job, pay back child support, get a house, get back on their feet. And I could tell that story many times through the last 19 years of people that we've been able to work with. I think we've given people a good environment, camaraderie, support system. And mainly, I think part of that is because it is family. So when people come in, they feel like they're part of that family. And all our kids are really, they're really good people, and they have good hearts and they're a good stability for a lot of people that might not have that in their life. So there's been a lot of that through the years, and I really think that's been an opportunity for us to make a difference in people's lives. So it doesn't always work out good, but a lot of times it has. So
Yeah. I was surprised to learn that Paul is not part of the family. He's such like
if you
a...
ask him, he'll
Yeah,
tell
he
you.
is.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's your other adopted son.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites of all time is Jesse Littleton. He's been 3 times I think he's worked for us.
Now 3 times.
And some people were just such a positive influence in everybody's life that they touch. So everybody loves Jesse. Jesse ever wants to come back again. Come back again.
Yeah.
But I think there's certain people that have worked for us that are just a joy to work with. They just never really have a negative. Yeah, they never have a negative attitude about things. Even when they're going through things, they're just pleasant to be with. And so it's good to get to know people like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
One of your old employees, Jessica Manzo, works for me now.
right,
She's sometimes a joy.
She's always a joy.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, she's always a joy.
Well, when we hired Jessica, I hired her to work with me in the kitchen.
Okay.
And she was better out front.
She
So
couldn't reach the
she
pots.
couldn't reach the top. I wasn't going to say that, but the marinara pots are like this big.
She will try, though.
Oh,
It will not hold her back.
She never asked anybody for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always had this metal stick with a hook on it, and she'd use that to get stuff off the shelf. Everybody does, but Jessica had to use for the lower shelf. So
She was made to interact with people.
yeah, she was. Yeah. As I said, we keep trying to get her to come back, and maybe she will someday.
I mean, she's here for now, so don't
Just
steal her back.
part-time.
Yeah, maybe part-time.
Only
in the eve-
part-time
maybe
in the evenings.
Yeah.
You got to let her kids grow up a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe her kids can work there.
We'll take them.
One thing that I like to ask people is just about a quote or piece of wisdom that is important to their lives and that they would want to share with other people. So if there's like a piece of like a biblical quote or some just general wisdom you've heard from somebody that you really like that you want to share.
I always thought this was the most important thing that anybody ever said to me. Again, I quit school when I was 16. And my friends were all making fun of me. We're sitting at a diner, up a Connecticut diner.
He's a high school dropout.
Just stools are all lined up, we're all sitting at the diner, and my English teacher is way down at the end. One of my friends yelled down, "Hey, Mr. Connor, did you hear that Testa quit school? They'll be pitching pennies." Because there used to be a commercial where all the
losers kids were pitching pennies on
pennies.
afternoon.
And then my teacher was real quiet. He goes, "Maybe he's good at it." That's what it comes down to. I mean, no matter what, if you're good at it, you can make a living at it.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good quote.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No, I can't think of anything. That was a good one. I like that one. Yeah.
Just marry right, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just go with that one.
Yeah. What do you think would be a positive, real change for our community? And it can be anything from like an attitude, a new business, a new whatever. What would be a positive thing for Wilmington's community?
It's a good one, too.
Right.
A second Mediterranean location somewhere.
Right.
We almost did that. We were going to locate in Xenia, and then the pandemic hit again.
I had a half done up there.
Yeah, we were working on it.
Really? Did you have a property up there?
Yeah. I was going to rent and lease a place up
We were
there.
working with the owner.
Where at in Xenia?
Right out of Detroit Avenue.
Right on the main street coming into town on the left-hand side.
Wow.
A little bit down from Rusty and Chippy's.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, it got so bad during the pandemic, we couldn't get enough help to even run our own.
Right, let alone do that one.
Right.
And then he's 73 now, so...
You don't seem 73.
My opinion was that maybe we should rethink that.
Yeah. Yeah. But positive things for Wilmington. What do you think our community could would help improve our community?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm glad that Sugar Tree's still there and that there's still people supporting it. And I know that there's people on both the different sides that don't agree with it or do agree with it. But I think it's always a good thing to help people out and feed people. People should never have to go hungry. I'm glad that there's some new businesses that are going to be coming up in the other end of town. I see that as progress for our town. I'm not real thrilled about it becoming a bigger town, but I know that that's the direction it has to head with, Waffle House. People are excited about that. TJ Maxx, which I'll probably never have any money again, but
that's what every
all the girls say.
All the girls, yeah.
Yep. Those are good things for the town because it'll bring other people from the area into town for business. And
Amazon helped.
Amazon was a huge help.
Back,
Yeah. And so, I hate to see it not be a farming community anymore, but I know that there's going to be changes, and I hope that they're all positive changes. So,
yeah, hopefully as we grow, we still maintain that
character.
Charm. Yeah.
I think with the college being such a big agricultural college, that's a big influence on keeping us where we're at. Plus, I heard that they just bought the Bright Farms, and so I think that's really cool that they did that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even if we do get more built up with more shops and stuff and more people, that you just said the college is such a strong in agriculture, like it'll always be part of our community.
Right.
And the horse center too is kind of related to agriculture.
Right. That's true too, with the World Equestrian Center. And that brings so many people from all over the world into town. So we need things for them too. And I realize that. So
Western stores,
yeah.
clothing stores.
That might be next, you know.
Well, speaking of so they're building a new tractor repair shop above Walmart. There's a piece of property between Walmart and the bypass that's getting tore down, and they're building a new tractor place. So that's kind of
that's good. Yeah.
It
keeps us in the agriculture. So
yeah.
Anything
else that you want to share on the podcast before we jump off, or things we missed?
I've known everything since I was born to right this minute.
That's good. Forever on the podcast.
It covered it pretty well.
Good. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your story, and thanks for just having the Mediterranean be a part of our community. It's awesome.
Well, thanks for having us, man.
We appreciate it.
Every little bit helps. We appreciate it.
Well, that's it for our podcast today. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Tony and Sharon Testa, founders of the Mediterranean Restaurant and Cafe on Main Street in downtown Wilmington. If you have any more questions or ideas for them, please feel free to reach out to them directly. If they will talk to us dorks, they will certainly talk to you as well, because after all, we are a community of empowered individuals. If you want to get in touch with Real Change Wilmington or share your story, you can contact us on our website at realchangewilmington.com, visit our Facebook and Instagram pages, or grab a free copy of our local newspaper at Kroger, Sam's Meats, and Fiesta Veracruz. We also currently send our free local newspaper direct mail to over 2,500 Wilmington residents each month. So if you want to help us cover our printing costs and advertise your local business, event, or job posting, please email us at advertise@realchangewilmington.com. With that, I'm your host, Dustin Pierce. Keep it real, Wilmington.